Okay, I think we are live. Indeed, we are. Hey, yes, we're live. Great. It's just me again. Teresa is on a sabbatical, so I'm going to make it well worth your while tuning in today as we look at where are we going to go now with Bitcoin, with the crypto market. We're going to talk a little bit about NFTs, talk about our NFT project, and get into some really exciting stuff here. And most importantly, when we're looking at where are we going to go now, we need to be thinking about what is the new moon doing? So if that all sounds interesting to you, you like our stuff, love for you to like this video. And of course, if you're new to our channel, we would appreciate your subscription. We are a tutorial channel teaching technical analysis, fundamentals, strategies, and mindset in the whole crypto space, which is now including metaverse, DeFi, and NFTs. One of the things Teresa and I have been saying a lot over the past few months is that the story is going about where money is flowing, that once we come to our cycle top for Bitcoin, and then we head down into that 2-year bear cycle, if indeed that happens, money flows out of the coins and into the DeFi space, into metaverse, and specifically into NFTs. And because we've been traveling sideways essentially for months now in the crypto market, we've already seen the NFT market shoot through the roof. I mean, Edward Snowden's NFT Stay Free went for $53 million. So we're going to want to start to talk about NFTs on this channel as a way of elongating crypto profits once we flip over into the bear market. So I'm going to get into TA for you for Bitcoin in just a moment, having a look at when that market top might actually happen. And I'm going to share with you some information about our NFT project. And tomorrow, my business partner in the NFT project, Anne-Marie from Australia, is going to join us, and we're going to be talking a little bit about if you're interested in making your own NFT collection and making money from it, what's the most important thing, as well as if you're interested in investing in an NFT project and wanting to make money, elongate crypto profits, what is the most important thing? And it doesn't matter which one you are, whether you're a creator or an investor, the most important thing is the exact same thing. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's get onto Bitcoin. Love for you to say hi. Hey, great, Raz. Always good to see you, honey. Love it that you love the channel and that you're back. We would appreciate you liking the video. I have a big zoom out on Bitcoin right now, looking at where we've been to determine where are we going. And as you can see from the halving, and we make our ascent up, where we are at right now is in a very critical zone of resistance. So if I elongate this line here, and this is without me bringing in Fibonacci levels, this is just looking at price action. Hi Carly, great to see you here. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Look at this. So then we bring this up to where we're at right now, and if we look over to the right, folks, Philip, great to see you. Oh great, thank you very much. Philip's from Marzel Money's channel, who's somebody who I do a joint venture with. So great, thank you. So here we are, look at this. Now, where we are at right now, I don't know, call me crazy, but I think that's a big giant W. Boom, 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 boom. And we are right at the resistance. Now, normally when we get Ws, we do get a little bit of a pullback before we get some momentum to charge after the resistance and blast through it. If we have a look at this W, and when we were traveling sideways and everybody thought we were going to go down to 20,000, even 10,000, what was happening is a very, very big W, and we got a little bit of a retracement. And then we went to an all-time high. I think that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen. And part of the reason why I think that's going to happen is we have broken out of this very long standing downward narrowing wedge. We came back down and look at this wick here, found some support here, so that we've now confirmed that this trending line down is no longer resistance, it's support, and we got very violently rejected and we came back into this zone. See the zone here that we were in here, right? We've come back into this zone, and it's a higher level zone than this zone that we were in here, suggesting we're still in a bull market overall. Bear trend because we've been trending down, but the market, like that cycle, that 2-year cycle, we're still in it. And the ultimate target is going to be the all-time high, because that's where the first candle touched on this downward trend. Philip, what are you saying? Do you reckon ETH will follow suit and be a similar pattern? It seems to have hung out at 2960 just now, and can't see why it has sat at this specific area. Yeah, I am going to go and talk about Ethereum very specifically. There is a W here as well, so I will talk about that for sure. Yes, so stay tuned for that. So here we are at resistance, and we're not breaking through, possibly going to repeat this fractal here, getting ready to pump and create another all-time high, or at the very least go to this all-time high. So if we break out of this W, remembering patterns on a larger time frame break out more often than patterns on the shorter time frames. So we often see patterns bust up on 1 hour, 15 minute, 30 minute, right? But once they're daily patterns, weekly patterns, monthly patterns, they're more likely to actually break out and get fulfilled. I've got my kombucha here, homemade kombucha, which I'm totally into. So what is the target here? This is the target. So the first target is 55,643, which means we're also going to be breaking another significant resistance line again, without even looking at the Fibonacci levels, without looking at any of the EMAs, just looking at price action. Over 52,000, there is some resistance, and there's also some resistance down here at around 49, and again around here at, I think that's 40, yeah, just over 46, 47,000, somewhere around there. So quite a bit of resistance above us, but remember, we've bounced off of here. We've created a higher high, I believe, on this wick, just ever so slightly, on the way up to this larger target, which is the all-time high that sat at around 69,000 and a bit. So to me, that looks bullish. Now, let's layer this, because we want to look at the trade, right? The trade right now, if that big W breaks out, as we know, we want a clear candle, 1 hour candle break, green above the resistance, come back, retest it as support, break up, and we enter as we come just above here, looking down to see if we've got the volume to support moving away from our entry point, and looking at the RSI, making sure we are, 60% maximum, and then, preferably under, so there's room on the RSI to move up and push away from our entry point, so our longs don't head down. If we do retrace, is there a short? Well, I'm going to look at that when we get onto the 4 hour. But right now, we're just wanting to look at this bigger structure so we know where we're going, and then we can look at the best trades that are in it, right? So that within that time frame. So that is that's the trade set up for a long, if you're not already in one. If you are in a long right now, yesterday in Ninjas and in some other Discord groups that I have memberships in, I said I would take some profit. I did take some profit here because we hit resistance several times and we weren't breaking through. And because we were coming up to new moon, we often see the cycle top. It's like we usually get to the top and then we get a retracement from that. New moon happened at around 9 a.m. We already started getting the retracement just before we went into new moon. So that's, you know, all confirmed. Now the question is, how much further are we going to retrace? Let's look at that. So in trading view, there is a moon phases here. Oh, actually, let me just do that. So yeah, there's a moon phases here, and the top represents the new moon. What did price action happen when we had a new moon, and what did price action happen when we had a full moon? Now, usually new moons have some kind of a retracement, and if we are in a cycle top or in downward trend, it often leads to a pretty substantial dump. So where are we at right now? Let's have a look. This new moon, we got to the top and we dumped hard for 2 weeks until we got to the full moon. And then we pumped a little bit, but because we were already going into a downward trend, by the time we get to the next new moon, we kept going down and we kept going down each new moon. This new moon, the previous one that we've just had rather, we did retrace, but we came up and created a higher high, signifying we're coming into a trend reversal. So now the new moon may behave differently. We may get just a smaller retracement like we did here before moving to the upside, right? We actually don't know that until we look at other technicals. So this is a really good indicator to get, because it has been pretty consistent in murmurings on the price action around new moon and full moon, and it can and then when we just use it, like I don't use it in terms of absolute certainty we're going to dump and now I'm going to short. I just use it as something to go, you know what, I need to protect my longs because we're coming into a new moon. And this is why if I come down into the 4 hour, yesterday, actually it was, where was it? It was right here on this candle here when we got rejected off of here. That's where I took profit, because I felt like as we're coming into the new moon, we could go lower. And so it was good to take some profit out of that long and then just come back in once we do a retracement. So if we look at the 4 hour, and let me just clean this up for you. We actually have a bull flag, right? A very nice bull flag. However, it should have broken out to the upside by now, which doesn't often happen on a new moon. We often don't break to the upside on a new moon. As I said, we usually retrace. So when we see a bull flag that is going on a little bit too long and it's not breaking to the upside, like right here is around about where it would have been good to break. When we start getting it elongated with the sideways action, and we're also getting quite a lot of rejection right at this level here, just looking at price action, then what can happen is this very quickly turns into a Bart Simpson, which is literally the character out of The Simpsons, and it's a sudden drop, and a Bart Simpson comes down and it stops just short of where we started, or it goes exactly to where we started or slightly before, and we never know which one it is until the fall stops or there's confluence with other support levels. And in this instance, the support level is sitting at 36,302. So that's what we've got to watch out for there, and that would be a really good short to take. And because it's a Bart Simpson, it might not reverse and retest resistance, and then you could go, yay, this is a short, we got rejected, and then we can short all the way down. This is something that can just happen suddenly. So this is a scalp rather than an actual trade, and if you miss it, you miss it. And it can also reverse quite quickly on us as well and bounce back up to around about 39,000 or 40,000. That is a potential scenario we need to watch because we're on the full moon. Now let's bring some Fibonacci's in. This is how my charts end up looking like pickup sticks. I want to see some potential retracements. So there is confluence around this Fibonacci level at 36,712. The golden ratio, however, is sitting at 38,556, and the 50% is sitting at 39,837, which are very strong retracement levels. But given the last time we had a W and we retraced, remember that bigger time frame, which was, oh, this is it here. We get the W and we get a small retracement. What percentage was that, by the way? Before going up into the, oh no, hang on a second, it was back here. This one here. What was that percentage? It was about 12%. Yeah, so that's pretty good. It's pretty decent. That is a pretty decent drop. So if we come back over here and we go to the top and we go, where is a 12% drop from there? Yeah, there's 50%. Look at that, sitting at around 39,786 or 39,939. So that's a possibility that's where we could retrace to if we're going to get a full new moon dump or a new moon significant retracement, right? So there's some confluence there. So let's bring in the Ichimoku and tell, what's the Ichimoku cloud telling us? And the Ichimoku cloud is telling us, let me get that out of the way so you can see, we've got green here. So this is bullish structure, but we are over red. So green is flow, red is resistance, but we've got the baseline still pretty, it's a little bit hitting resistance because we're in the cloud, not above it, but the lagging span is above. So we do still have bullish momentum. And this is one of the reasons why when I see more bullish signs than bearish signs, and I'm looking at a retracement, I'm thinking the retracement could possibly just come back down to that 50%, maybe not even there, maybe hit the Ichimoku cloud at 40,000. So that's another support level. And all of those levels, if we bounce off of them, are good entry points for longs, because this next long could most likely be a fairly significant one, creating a higher high. Any questions on that, just ask ahead. By the way, if you're new to the channel, we'd love your subscription. We are a tutorial channel teaching you technical analysis as well as strategies and mindset. And right now, I think the mindset is to be patient. Just recently, I've had quite a few people say that, you know, they're a bit over Bitcoin. They're going in a different direction. They're going in a different direction from crypto because we've been in this long-standing this long-standing sideways action, and often people quit just before it gets exciting. And don't let that be you. Just hang in there, because we always see upturns, whether it's in 2 years' time or whether it's in 2 days' time, the upturn happens. So, you know, like successful people don't quit. You just readjust your strategies, right? So I think that we are watching with bated breath what happens if we go lower than 43,000. I think that's possible that, you know, we're going to dip back into that Bart Simpson. So let's go to the 1 hour Ichimoku. And on the 1 hour Ichimoku, it just looks like we could trade sideways for a little bit longer, trying to get past this resistance and then going down. Now, I've been talking more weighted because of new moon, more likely about to see a retracement. But what if we don't get a retracement? What if this is another W, right? And that's the retracement of the W, and we're about to break out. Let's have a look at that. That could take us to 47,118, and we could continue this upward trend, right? This is the other thing we can do too, is just draw a line here, see it, there's confluence. If we drop, is there support there? So now we've got all these support levels, and if we start busting through them, then, you know we are going down to those lower numbers, and that's got confluence of ending at around 39,383. So the trade setup is waiting for confirmation of a direction inside our patterns. Are we going to break to the upside here, in which case it's a long? Are we going to break down on this bull, this bull flag at the bottom here, break down hard, in which case it would be a short down here? Just be very, very careful, like at around 40, 42, 41 and 40,000, we may not go lower than those levels. So you be careful about taking profit if you're going to short. I'm not shorting. Now what I'm looking for are bullish and bearish divergences, and we have a bearish divergence. Look at this. On the 1 hour, we have a lower high on the RSI, and we have a higher high. So that's confirming to me that we could get that retracement for the new moon, which we normally get, because we've got that bullish, that bearish divergence. It has already started to play out, right? We've come down here already on 1, 2, 3, 3 1 hour candles heading lower, but we've not breached this point here. That's what we want to be looking for. Are we going to breach that point there? So let us look at the 4 hour for the bearish or bullish divergence, because if we've got divergences on bigger time frames, they're often bigger drops. And in this instance, we do have a divergence. Here it is here, lower low on the RSI, and then a lower high on the RSI and a higher high on the price action there. So we want to watch out for that. So that's all confirming we're getting a retracement. The other thing is too, I've noticed, and this is not technical, this is just me noticing. Whenever we see the red Ichimoku cloud with a very strong, sharp, straight line, that is often an indication that we're in danger territory of shooting up or shooting down in one direction or the other rather rapidly. So one of the things that I'm watching, which I never used to watch too much, especially now that we are, on the brink of some massive action going on in Eastern Europe with Ukraine and Russia, as I come in and I'm looking very carefully at the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 has got a bit of a recovery going on right now, and that could even be a bit of, like a nice W forming, which is a bullish W if this completes, because we've got a higher low here on the S&P 500. We could even call that a W, and again we're sitting at resistance. So if we go above that, then positivity on the stock market obviously is going to help us with Bitcoin as well. So which Bitcoin chart was I using here? Yeah, so there we are. So we'll do a lot more of this in Marcel Money's Discord channel and my channel as well, Conscious Crypto Traders. So I'm going to talk about Ethereum, and let's see if Ethereum is going to follow Bitcoin or lead Bitcoin, or just do something completely different altogether, because it can do that, right? But before I do that, I want to talk about our NFT project, which I'm so excited about. It is now on OpenSea, and if you're interested in getting 30% discount off of our NFTs before we actually mint for the public next Thursday on the 10th, you want to join our whitelist, and you want to go over to quantumfreedomnfts.com. The link is below. The project is a story. It's like all of our photographs, and we're telling the story of the search for the 100th monkey, which is a paradigm shifting number of people around the concept of freedom, positive, freedom to live our purpose, freedom to live prosperously, freedom to live in peace. And if we create that paradigm shift through the story, can we create that paradigm shift in humanity by getting our story out here through our NFTs? That's why it's called Quantum Freedom. So we would love for you to head on over there, and the link is in the description below, and get on our whitelist, learn more about what we're doing, check out our store on OpenSea, and pick your favorites, right? What are your favorite NFTs, so that when we mint on the whitelist, you're going to be getting an email in the next day. Actually, I think I'm sending it this afternoon on what the prices are and what your discounts would be before we go. And we also have a link below for our Twitter, which we've just started, and we're really trying to push to 100. So we would love you to join us on Twitter. And this is where we're going to start releasing tutorials on building your own NFTs and investing in NFTs and making money with NFTs. So again, links below. Thanks for that. Okay, so here we are with Ethereum, and let's have a look at our new moons. In our new moons, we consistently get retracements depending on whether we're in an upward trend or a downward trend. The retracement lasts for 2 weeks up to full moon. And I think the full moon is around about the 20th of March. Not quite sure, but I will get that ready for you for next week and in the Discord server later on this afternoon. Small retracements over 2 weeks, like we've just continued to go down for 2 weeks. This one we did not. We came down, bounce, came higher low, and then we got a higher low here. So we didn't keep going down. There wasn't a downward trend. This one here we dumped hard. This new moon here we dumped pretty hard. This new moon here we dumped pretty hard. This was Saturn retrograde, and Saturn retrogrades usually have really big dumps. The next Saturn retrograde, by the way, is coming up at the end of April, March, conjuncting Mercury retrograde, which is what happened here. Mercury retrograde and Saturn retrograde happened within a couple of weeks of each other, and we got a hard dump. So that's where I'm picking the top of the market might be towards the end of April, going into May. May even got elongate out to June, but somewhere around there. Is it possible that the top of the market could be reached at the end of March? Absolutely, it is. So it's not 100% guaranteed that we follow the astrology, but if you look in previous years, it's been pretty consistent. Look at this new moon, dumped for 2 weeks, dumped for 2 weeks. This one here, we did not dump for 2 weeks. We dumped for a little bit, then we started going up. So by the time we hit the new moon, we kept going up and we created an all-time high. All of the new moons recently, because we were in a downward trend, dumped hard for 2 weeks. So the question is, are we going to have a 2-week dump for Ethereum or Bitcoin? That is possible. It's possible that we could retrace and go sideways, but it is possible that we could be having one of these new moons where we just retrace a little bit and then continue to go up and create a higher high. And that is that's my preference, obviously. But it's also my thought that because we're in this upward trend, exactly the same for Ethereum, right? We've created a higher low. I'm just going to do the candles here. We've created a higher low, and look at this. We have created, this could be a continuation triangle because we came into it with green candles to the upside. This is a pattern that breaks to the upside more often than not. So this is confirming that the retracement that we get for this new moon might not be a big one. It could be, but it might not be. It might just come back down here, maybe wick a little bit further. And the target for this is 3969, 3970, right? So let's bring in some Fibonacci's, and we'll go from here, swing low to swing high of this entire movement. And we can see that the golden ratio is sitting right at the bottom of the support level of this symmetrical triangle. How awesome is that? So maybe we only retrace to 2630. So that kind of confirms that we are going to get a retracement. So Ethereum, the charts for Ethereum might be leading the way for Bitcoin, right? We could retrace here, which would still mean that this W that we've got here is still in play. It's not getting invalidated, comes back up, breaks up, and goes to the upside. So now what I want to do is I want to come down into the 4-hour, and I want to start looking at the Ichimoku. And the Ichimoku does not have any green cloud forming like Bitcoin does. But on the 4-hourly, you know, we've got an upward channel. So that is another indication. Upward channels break to the downside more often than they break to the upside right there. So would I short this? Because we're at resistance, right? When you're at resistance, getting rejected from resistance, would you short it? I think if you're an experienced shorter and you know what you're doing, that could be a decent short over the next couple of days. But I would be very careful because we've got, and I wouldn't do it personally myself, because we're in an upward trend and we've got a change in trend happening in the market. I just don't want the stress, right? We also have the golden ratio 50% at 2781. So any one of these support levels that I mentioned, this could happen. We could come down and get it. Like it could just go flick right back up. And if you're not scalping the short, i.e. getting in fast, getting out fast, you're leaving it open as an open trade, you could very easily get up into the red and actually miss the profit taking. So unless you're experienced, that is not something that I personally do when we've got a market that's starting to turn its trend to the upside. I would be looking more at setting up for a long if we come back down here and then get in a really good position when we get a reversal. The breakout for this is sitting at the end of the March, anywhere between the what is that, the 20th of March, around the full moon. And remember, full moons are usually, you know, might come down a little bit, but we find our bottom and then we reverse up to the upside. So there's confluence there, which means that Ethereum over the next 2 weeks could trade sideways within these relative, what do you call it, narrowing support and resistance lines. So I would be waiting for a retracement to enter into a long, or I would be waiting for a breakout to enter into a long. Could we break out earlier than the 20th? Yeah, absolutely we could. But what happens when we break out of patterns early is we could get a run and it's like a fake out, and then it will come back down into the pattern really hard. So we've got to watch out for that as well too. So the bottom line is, I think in terms of strategy, be careful about leaving trades open for a really long time when we've got this kind of volatility and not taking your profits out as we hit those resistance levels, thinking we're going to keep going up. And that's a mindset. The mindset is not get too greedy, especially because goosebumps, we could be on the brink of World War III. Right? And markets, when we don't have certainty of what's going on, can dump hard. But once we have certainty of what's going on, whether we've got war or not, they can respond really positively, which is just really crazy. And in my world, that it wouldn't happen that way, but that is the way that it does happen. And we've just got to keep an eye on that for the markets. I got a question here. What's the value of the RSI you are using? And you know what? I don't actually know. Where are my settings? It's not something that I kind of look at because I don't really do much. So I don't really know how to answer that. I will do some research and get back to you. One of the reasons why I pay attention to the RSI, but I don't know too much about it, is because I actually focus more on the Ichimoku cloud, because the Ichimoku cloud is a little bit more of like the Bollinger Bands, the moving averages, and it throws out prediction in the future, whereas the RSI is just telling us where we are at right now. And we're at 58% right now, which means we could go up, we could go down. On that, but I'm going to research that and get back to you, Philip. Thank you so much. I'm always learning as well, and it's like traders usually, like, they have their preferences, and it's like, I do this indicator, this indicator, this indicator, and it's important we don't get married to that, and we go, oh, you know what, we need to expand and learn some more stuff. And I just recently actually show you this, go back to Bitcoin, show you this new indicator that I'm learning about at the moment, which I've never traded with before, but I just did trade recently with it, and that is the Gaussian channel. Where is it? Oh God, having said that, have I got it here? Where is it? It's not here. I should have got that ready for you instead of saying something and then going, it's not here. Damn it, sorry about that. That's totally, is it on this chart here? It's not. Let's see if I can find it here. I'm on a, here we go. This isn't the one I'm using. But let's see if it's going to give us some information. Yeah, here it is. Great. This isn't the one I'm using a different one, but let me just bring this in for you. And let's get rid of the Ichimoku so it's not so dirty. So this channel here, if we look at the bull market, this channel here, whenever we're under it, when we've been in the bull market, we haven't been under it for too long before coming up and creating a higher high, right? And just recently we've been under it, and this is why people are going, oh, we're gonna crash, we're gonna crash. It's like, usually if we're going to crash, we're either above it or right at it, and then we come down from it. But once we're down under it, we usually get a reversal back to the upside. As you can see here, came back down, reversal back to the upside, came down here, reversal back to the upside, down, reversal back into the channel, right? So this is something that I'm playing with. I don't know too much about it, but like I said before, as a trader, you get married to the indicators you use, and then you don't go outside and have a look at all the other ones, especially the newer ones that come onto the market that can really help us. And this one, when we were down here, this was screaming long, right? Because it was just screaming, get into a long, which we did, and then we took some profit here. So awesome, guys. Hey, love for you to join our project and learn all about this paradigm shift we want to create on the planet using our NFTs. Get on the whitelist, and you'll read the story on our website, and then you'll get a link over to our OpenSea store as well once you get on the whitelist. And then also, well, we've got the link to the OpenSea here on Twitter, new Twitter account. We'd really appreciate your support in coming over and following us, and then retweeting the pinned one that we've got here. We're releasing all of the different, that's not one of our NFTs, all of the different NFTs we've got. See if we've got ones of the monkeys. Oh, no, it's on our website. The ones of the monkeys tell the story of the 100th monkey paradigm shift in consciousness that we want to do. We are the Conscious Crypto Traders channel after all. Oh, no, it's not on the website yet. Hasn't updated. I'll have to get that ready for you tomorrow. We're going to go live tomorrow, not sure what time, to talk about how you can get into the NFT space, either as a creator or an investor, and make some money on NFTs. So I think what I might do also, I might try and go live again on Friday, and let's have a look at what happens around the CME, and I'll get some research done on those things that I wasn't quite prepared for today, especially giving you some hardcore dates of when I think we could see a market top, and we're going to see money flowing out of crypto and possibly into NFTs as well. So that is it from me from now until we meet again. Oh, and by the way, Teresa has got a whole lot of new tutorials that she's uploading. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, click the bell, hit all, so that you get notified when those get uploaded. Other than that, I trade consciously until we meet again, and I'll see you all in the Discord channel. Thanks, guys. Bye. See you tomorrow too if you come live.